and welcome to this ICAO and Sichuan province event. It's great to be here with all of you, and I hope you will get a lot out of this. Now, ICAO agreed to undertake work on UAS back in 2007. At that point, there was very little work that had been done on certainly the global scale, although there were increasing numbers of military, in particular, unmanned aircraft, but they really had not spread into the civil arena. However, people did understand that they would come into the civil arena in larger and larger numbers, particularly as the standards were developed for them. So that's why ICAO got involved. Now, originally, it was assigned at ICAO into the air traffic management section, and I just happened to have been the person who arrived at that point in time, so it was assigned to me with a go figure it out direction. Now, all of the initial analyses indicated that ATM was really kind of the final stage of what we needed to be looking at. We were so used to ATM being closer to the forefront with manned aviation, but that's because manned aviation has been around for such a long time, and the changes occur incrementally. A particular new aircraft is introduced, such as the A380, which drives certain changes to the system, but all the fundamentals are already in place. Regulators know how to evaluate the design of aircraft and determine whether or not they will be airworthy. Everybody knows how the system works and what kind of technology is required for aircraft to fit into the system. So the changes are incremental in manned aviation. But this new advent of the current unmanned aviation world is happening all at once. So we have to step back and look at this from the very beginning and try and figure out what all the underlying requirements are, the fundamentals, starting with things like airworthiness and licensing and operations, all of which have to be in place in order for the air navigation service providers to provide adequate service to these aircraft when they're operating in the airspace. So it was a big step back to look at all of these things, but at the same time, we cannot be pretending that we're starting with a blank piece of paper when it comes to regulating unmanned aviation. It has to fit into the system, and that system is managed to such a large extent by the air navigation service providers. And of course, I can say that as an air traffic controller. We know that we're always in charge of these things. So we have to look at the end product. Where will these aircraft fit into airspace? How will they operate in the airspace? What are the requirements that they have to meet in order to operate in the airspace?